Okay, one more time on that mic test. Let me know you can still hear me. I just threw my mic across the room by accident. All right, starting in 1 minute. Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Pro Trade Room Plus, the ADP report. My name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading. I am not a financial advisor, so please trade carefully. Okay, volume is a little bit lower. Let's see if I can do one thing to change that. I don't think I can, but I'll give it one shot. One shot. Let me know if that changed anything, Frank. If that changed anything, let me know. And we'll try one more thing if I can, and there's nothing else I can do at the moment. Okay, I hope everyone can hear me. And you'll notice I have three charts open: gold, GC 824, ES, and MGC 824. Looking at ADP in the news, they're expecting 163,000. This is a family money trade. It has changed a little bit, this report. Um, More than a year ago, they changed the way they calculate the report, and it's been a little bit different ever since. If anything, it's probably been a little bit less impact. We do have a trap trade set up for this event. That is the way that I trade it currently. What's interesting is the breakout works also very often. Okay, so I have to wake up. Let me know if you can hear me now. I'm a complete doofus. Let me start over. Welcome, everybody. It would be nice if I turned the mic on. That does help. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the ADP report. I was just saying that this is a family money trade. They changed the way they calculate this report over a year ago. And I think that there have been some changes to the report. I think it is a little bit less impactful in the way that it moves, but it still moves rather well. And we actually have two legitimate setups with the same instrument, which is very unusual for this report. And just also a heads up, there is an 8:30 unemployment uh, trade balance report. It's on a Wednesday. To have Thursday's unemployment on a Wednesday, on a holiday Wednesday, I really think that the reports to trade today are ISM and to trade um, ADP. These are the reports that generally should move the best, and that's that's the approach that I'm going to take today. So let's talk about the DMM. There's nothing I can do about volume now, unfortunately. I mean, I've been testing all these mics and they seem to be okay, but I can try changing it for the next room. Um, let's look at the DMM. That's a little big, but all right, let's look at it huge. So we've had a couple of bad events, okay, on the breakout, on the breakout. But we have had trap trades that have worked. Last month the trap worked, and I'll tell you the truth, I would swear that I got a pretty good fill last month on the breakout. So one thing you can do is if you have a prop account, a trap trade is pretty appropriate for a prop account because you're getting filled in the opposite direction. And when you get filled in the opposite direction, you have a better chance for a good fill. All right. I don't know where my webcam seems to have disappeared. So I guess it's going to be disappeared for this morning. So let's look at, did anybody see it disappear? I didn't even see it disappear. Sometimes the technology is just a little bit too much. It gets a little bit goofy. Um, I can bring back, see, I want to be a YouTube star. I mean, that face is the face of a YouTube star. I mean, there's just no two ways around it. That is what it is. Let's take a look at the DMM one more time because I want to just show you something. The trap trade, all right, 30 to 55 on the fills and a stop of 30. I have a slight modify to that. 25.50 is what I would do. And I'm only willing to risk a stop of 20. So I would trade the breakout. I would trade the breakout in my regular account. Before I set up the trade, let's take a look
Up,
at last
same thing, lost.
last month. Let's see what happened in the room. So last month was June, and I think I was trading the trap on my Top Step account. And for some reason, and everything looked normal, but I didn't see my orders. And I don't know what the heck happened in June, to tell you the truth. It was not a very big move in gold. The ES had a decent medium move, but let's just make sure that we're looking at the right thing because I think we're looking at the wrong date. It's too many videos. Yeah, that's what I thought. Too many videos in a video. Here is June correct. June correct. Trap in the prop account, breakout in the cash account. I'm almost positive we made money in our cash accounts last month. Now I'm showing cash. Oh, you know what? I see what I did. I see what I did. It was a trap trade all the way. If you notice, very fast fill, big pullback. Okay. Very fast fill, big pullback. Looking at May, looking at May, trap trade in May. The numbers were pretty positive. There were more jobs than expected. And if I remember correctly, May did not fill. It just didn't move the market all that much. So May was not a fill. Let's look at one more. Let's look at April. So looking at April, trap trade again, fills the first tier, and you can see the second tier is down here at the low, has not filled it, still hasn't filled it. Then the reversal started, all right, and it was a trap trade again. So I'm trading. My favorite way to trade this these days is the trap trade. That's how I like to trade it. The issue, however, is sometimes the data feeds in the prop accounts are squirrely when it comes to fast breakouts. Sometimes this report can be a fast breakout. It's possible. So I think the best opportunity for good fills, the best opportunity for good fills are in your cash account on the trap trade and on the breakout, and in a prop account on the trap. We've seen, like I said, we've just seen some squirrely behavior on breakouts. Squirrely meaning fills at the top of candles, um, just fills that aren't as good as you're getting, as we sometimes get in our cash accounts. It's not always, but it's sometimes. Now, there was one other thing I wanted to show you. Let's take a look at the spike sheet. What is a spike sheet? So a spike sheet tells us, and let's also do our time sink, okay? Let's do our time sink first. I've been using the pre-trade checklist, which you can download from the room drive in the trade room. It's look at the top of your room trade room taskbar and you'll see a file folder. In that file folder is the pre-trade checklist, and you can easily download it. And it's so easy to check your time sink by just clicking the link for time is. And then it takes me to the website, it checks my sync, and I don't have to worry about it once I take care of that. Okay. The spike sheet, if you notice, our biggest move was October. I just honestly don't think October, you can really remove that because it's so far away. So let's say we look at January and we have a 52 tick move, tiers of 30 and 40. That's a little bit tight. Um, if you really want to be safe in case should there be a very big move, it's not been called for, but I kind of like 25.50 with the same stop. That way, if it's a smallish move, I might get filled on the first tier. And if it doesn't fill the second tier, I might still have a profit because I'll get a reversal. Okay. So the trap that I like is 25.50. So you choose trap trade, position size one is a one. That just means you have one position for each tier. Position size two is a one. The stop we said was 20. And my tiers are 25 and 50. That gives us a zone of safety Zone of safety of 70 ticks. If the price bursts more than 70 ticks, then we can be stopped out because it'll break through our stop, but we haven't seen a 70 tick move in quite a while. You have to go back to October. The time of the event, if you're using the news software, is 9:59. Sorry, I'm on ISM. Is 8:14:55. It's too many trades, folks. It's just too many trades. 8:14:55. 8:14:55. All right. If you're on the old software, you're going to put the time in of 8:15 and the prep seconds is 5. All right. The new software, we just trigger exactly when we want to trigger. It just makes it simpler. So stop at 20 tiers of 25.50, triggering at 8:14:55. And I'm trading that in my normal account, our cash account. That's our trap trade. I'm setting up a change of direction, which I mean, with all these setups, it's impossible to have time to do everything. You can't do a watch the ES. You can't watch micros. You can't trade the trap. You can't do all these things. It's almost impossible. So sometimes you have to just make a decision and choose that decision, if you know what I mean. Make sure with the trap trade that you can see the combine button because that means that your chart, your trading chart, is wide enough. Okay. If you can't see the combine button, just widen the chart so you can see it. That's the end of the button. It's the break even button, moves the stop to break even. Close the button, closes the trade. Adjust, we don't use right now. Cancel the outer tier if we fill one order and we need to remove the second order because it doesn't get filled. That's what the cancel outer tier does. And then, very honestly, gold is the instrument that we like to trade on this report. We can watch the ES, but in some ways, I'd almost rather trade one contract in my prop account as a breakout to test the breakout. Now, I'm just setting up a very simple change in direction on micro gold. I highly doubt if I'll have time to pay attention to it. On micros, I'm just trading two positions, 20 on the target, 20 on the stop. And you could do a change in direction on the ES. The ES does move on this report, somewhat. And I'll do that in my prop account. If there's an opportunity, you don't have to do everything that you set up, okay? Just if there is an opportunity, I'll have my buttons. When I enable it, there's my buttons. If I want to go long or short on micro gold, I have that opportunity. But I'm really looking at the trap trade as my main trade. And then in my Buellnox account, after the event, we can look at the ES. Um, just looking at the DMM one more time for everyone. Our approaches here are gold breakout, gold trap. The reason I'm talking about ES is because we have had ES setups. Our gold bracket is 12, our stop is 20. Okay. Targets on gold. I think that 13 is a little bit small. I'd probably go 9 and 20-ish, 25-ish. That's what I would do on gold targets. Okay. Um, Volume is low today, and it's going to be much quieter today on everything. Also, it's summer, and there's so much confusion about whether the markets are open half a day or not. I got two separate answers from Ninja Brokerage. And I've looked at, sometimes you look at the schedule, it's really hard to read it. I mean, I don't really think I'm a complete idiot, but I can't read that CME schedule. So I just sent a simple email to Ninja. Is the market open half a day today? One broker told me it's open all day. And then I got an email from one of our members yesterday from Ninja, and it shows that the market's half a day. So, Calvin, you tell me, Calvin, can you tell me, is it half a day today? Like 1 p.m. Central Time close or 1 p.m. Eastern Time? Either way, I'm not doing a trade room for the FOMC minutes. Everyone's getting ready to leave town. I mean, don't you think that's the honest truth in the US? Um, Ravi, would you confirm? So
In
on
10 minutes
gold,
time now at 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time, we see the release of the US ADP employment change.
so
Forecast
Sander,
165K
I'm
from
not a
prior
lover of
152K,
this
with
trade
a
with
range of
one contract.
195 to 100K
I don't
expected.
think the breakout, I think the trap is the way to trade this trade. This trade does not have a history of blowing through the traps and blowing you out. If you're worried, don't trade it. You're better off not trading it. I don't think a one contract gold trade is a great solution because it doesn't move well enough on the breakouts. Um, you're better off reducing your risk on a one tier trap trade. Just trade one tier with 50. And if it has a big move, but it's not insane, you'll get filled and there's a good possibility you'll make money. But I just don't like the trap. I'm going to the breakout. I'm going to set up a breakout to watch it, but it's been very whippy. 12 tier, 12 bracket, two positions, target of 9 and 20, target one stop move, break even -3. The stop has to be 20. That's what our testing said. The stop has to be 20. So if I were going to trade one contract, if you really want to do it, I would trade for a target of 15. That's how I would do it. I would just trade for a target of 15. If the market moves 10 ticks, move your stop to break even +7. That's what I would do. Okay. Just go for a small target. So if it bursts and reverses, which it sometimes does, then you get the opportunity to grab your first target, make a few bucks, and party's over and you're not unhappy. So that's the way I would do it. I'm not a super fan of the breakout right now because for the past 4, 5, 6 months, the trap's been working better. 8:14:59 on the trigger. I'm just going to check my brackets. Look, it could go back to a perfect breakout. It's one of those reports that it's
Order
still a
submitted.
family money trade because of the
Order
possibility
canceled.
of a good outcome. And the trap has been making money. I know people, I truly love the traps. I know that Chantal loves the traps. Yet I know that members get very uncomfortable with the traps. So very honestly, when a report has a history of reversing, a trap is a great way to trade it. This report, look, it could explode through everything and be a lousy trade, but it hasn't been doing that. You know, you look at the spike sheet, we look at that sheet, you got to go back to July. You got to go back to July for an 80 tick move. And if you use a tier of 50, you're safe every move since July. August twice, October, November, December, January. All right. It doesn't mean you're profitable, but it means you have a trade to manage. Okay. Now we will move over to unemployment. You're asking me about the ES settings. So ES is a breakout on this report. And let me just see if we even have much of we've had a trap on the ES also on this report, but we didn't put it on the um,
In
DMM,
5 minutes
Frank,
time now at
because
8:15
it
a.m.
really
Eastern
just
Time, we see
hasn't
the release
been
of the US ADP
giving
Employment
enough
change for the
profit.
month of June. Forecast
The trap, it's
165K
been
on the prior
smaller, 10,
152K, with a
15, and
range of
15,
195 to
somewhere in that area.
100K
Let me
expected.
pull it up. 10 and 15, and I would use a 15 stop. 10 and 15 on the tiers with a 15 stop. So I do like the gold trap. My setup is tiers of 25 and 50. I think we'll get filled on that. 25 and 50. I think at least one tier will fill. 8, 14, 55. Our orders will go on the chart. 20 on the stop. That's the setup I'm going to use. Everybody clear? Watching the gold breakout and watching MGC. Now, I do want to say something for people that are going to get into the magnet trade. This is a magnet trade to just put a trade on to break through the high. There's a really good opportunity to use the magnet trade as a replacement for breakout trades. And I think when we get back from the holidays, we'll do a whole bunch of magnet trade rooms and explore different ways it could be traded. But one thing you could do is, and just watch and see what happens. There's a really good chance the high of the day is going to get broken on this trade. So there's a good chance that if you set up a magnet trade right now and just trade that direction, if it goes south, short, you don't get a fill, it's no problem. If you get a burst to the upside, you may have a great magnet trade. So it's just a way to think about using the magnet trade. Yeah, it is a strange day, and to answer the question about the volatility and the markets, and a lot of people don't trade on these days. I do think that with the trap, I think it's the safest setup on with this kind of volume and volatility holidays. And I do think the ISM services is meaningful enough that it could still trade on a holiday. We'll still have the trade rooms for oil and gas. The best opportunity on oil and gas probably would be after the news is released. Oil if I remember correctly, is at a really weird time also. And then gas is not on its normal day. So I'm kind of a stickler for consistency. I like
1
consistency.
minute remaining.
Now, if you can't see your orders on the trap, it's because your chart's too wide. Shrink it down and you'll see your orders. Yeah, Calvin, you're absolutely right. It's so confusing, the schedule. Some markets are open later. Why can't they just put it in English and just say, hey, most futures are closing at 1 p.m. Eastern time today? But no, they got to do this whole rigmarole with the schedule. Maybe I'm just getting old.
10 seconds.
Order submitted.
Okay, see what I mean? You can see your orders. This is fine.
Order submitted.
150K, 150K.
There's the
Longer
news.
forecast,
Order submitted.
165K.
A little bit
Order
of a
filled.
fill.
Order
See what
filled.
I mean about that squirrely move on the E on the breakout? That was a squirrely move. We just missed getting filled by one tick on that breakout.
So for the breakdown, the
If it
June service
now, I
producing
would
jobs are
have
up
to cancel this
136,000, while
if
goods
it
producing jobs are up
continues down
14,000.
because it's made its move up. And very honestly, we probably have to cancel the trap. It's made its move up. It missed our fill by one little tick. Okay. And it's a shame because it would have been a great trap. The breakout was exactly what I was concerned about. I don't want to get filled long because the correct move is not long. The correct move on this trade was short. Okay. So I have to cancel.
Order canceled.
Does everyone understand why? It moved up. That was our burst. That's when
So
we want to
fundamental
get
data
filled
disclosing a little
on
bit of
this
weakness in the
report.
dollar now.
It's now doing the profit move, but we didn't get filled. Our tier was just a little small. It only looked like one tick, one or two ticks. And I was not using a very big setup. I used a smaller setup. So just a little bit of bad luck. I don't think it would have been a great result on the breakout. If someone traded the breakout, you could tell us. I don't think it looked like a great result. It looked like it just barely filled, top of the candle, stop out reversal. That's what it looked like to me. I did not recommend the breakout this morning for that exact reason. I expected kind of a lousy fill. Now, Ravi, if you're talking prop accounts, we're not talking prop accounts. My prop account was a profit. It's not the same as a cash trade with the data feed. The data feed, that's the difference. So I want to hear from anyone. My prop account, it works like a sim account. They work like sim accounts. Did anyone trade cash on the ADP breakout? Anyone trade cash with the 12 bracket? Now, I'm paying attention to gold here. We just didn't get a big enough move, everybody. The magnet, depending where you would have put your magnet, it might not have worked. All right. It might not have worked. I
So we haven't
think
posted out the
I
ADP
want to be
Employment
honest.
June report
I
in the
might have
feed
gotten
for
stopped
anybody
out on that
interested.
magnet.
So the chief
Okay.
economist at ADP notes that job growth has been solid, but not
It just
broad-based.
wasn't a
Had it
big
not been
enough
for a
move.
rebound in hiring in
It was
leisure
a
and
pretty
hospitality, June would have
small
been a
move
downbeat month.
considering. MNQ did nothing. Yeah, this was not eventful. This report is becoming less impactful and it may lose its family money moniker for a while. Now, we're too far outside of the news to allow ourselves to get filled long on the trap now. It's not a trap trade anymore. Now it's a magnet trade still. There's still going to be a test of this high, right? There's going to be a test of this high. Now we have unemployment. So folks, let's do what we're here for. We're going to have our webinars on the magnet. We're going to have our webinars on the magnet. You can leave gold up. You can leave gold up. I'm going to shrink things down. We have NQ 0924. We do have unemployment with trade balance. I have no interest in trading it today. It's a Wednesday. It's a report that I don't have hardly any testing whatsoever. And we had an awesome API report. Anyone who traded the API last night made $200 to $300 to end the day yesterday. There's no reason to end the week. If ADP and ISM don't make us money, then I'm going to end the week on a $340 profit on the API. If you
So in 10 minutes time now, at the
refuse
bottom
to
of the hour,
trade the
we see the release of the
API,
weekly initial
then I
jobless
can't
claims.
help you to
Forecast
make money. If
235k
you
on the prior
don't trade the
233k,
API,
with a range of
here's our winning
242
magnet
to
trade. If your
225k
stop was
expected.
big enough,
We also see the continued
you would have
jobless
still
claims.
been in the
Forecast
magnet, and it's
1.84
going to blow
million on the
through the
prior
high.
1.839
All right?
million.
It's
With
going to
this, we get
blow
the
through
US
the
trade
high.
balance for the month of May. Forecast sees a
Very
deficit of
nice, Brian.
76.5 billion
Okay,
on the
there's your
prior
winning
deficit of
magnet trade.
74.6
All
billion.
right?
The range is deficits of
Most
70.3
people
to
probably would have
78.2
gotten
billion.
stopped
For the Canadian
because the
trade balance as
stop,
well for the month of
that
May,
pullback was too
forecast is a
big.
deficit of 1.27
Micros, it'd
billion
be a
on the
winning
prior
trade.
deficit of 1.05 billion.
Nevertheless,
Range
you
sees
can put it
deficits
on
of
a second
0.4
time
billion to
and make your money back.
1.75 billion.
And I would seriously have considered doing that. Like I said, I'm going to make a deal with everybody. We will have some magnet trade webinars, not webinars, trade rooms next week. And we'll start to understand how to integrate it into our regular trading. Because for people that didn't want to do the trap and for people that agreed with me about the breakout, Magnet was a great setup for this. Absolutely great. Now, just because it didn't work doesn't mean it's a failed junky strategy. Every trade isn't going to work. It was a great opportunity, in my opinion, for the first one to work, but we just didn't get a very good move on a report that should have broke the high, should have broken the high. So we have jobless claims. This is the report that continually embarrasses me in the trade room because every time I don't trade it, it's a monster winner. But the reality is, it's an inconsistent report. That's the reality. And our trading account is still in a very healthy place because I'm not trading the really inconsistent reports. I'm truly not trading them. Okay. And we have members that are trading them, and sometimes they're making some seriously nice money. All right. And I know what David is saying. David's going to trade it. I am definitely concerned because it's a Wednesday, for one. All right. It's a Wednesday, and we're trading with trade balance. And there we go. I'm not as stupid as I look. Okay. So our gold setup, let's put our NQ setup on the left. I believe our NQ setup is the better setup. NQ0924. On this trade. And like I said, it's not the right day of the week. It's an inconsistent report for me. I told you what my plan is for today. 829, I'm trading ISM. It's a family money trade, and it deserves to be a family money trade. And we'll talk about it. And I have a secret surprise for everybody also. 829.59 is the trigger. The bracket is 25. Now look, I think everyone should get themselves a prop account or two or three. Why? There's so many reports that you're on the fence about that have the potential still to make money. And trading prop, if you blow your prop account up, it just doesn't matter. You just restart or wait, have two of them. It's so reasonably priced to have two prop accounts. I haven't blown up my Buell Knox account. You've seen me trading it. I have not blown it up. It's hard to believe, but I have not blown it up. 12 and 25 on our targets for the MQ. The stop is 35. Target one stop move. Let me explain what I'm thinking. Let me just help everyone set up these trades. 829.59, bracket of 25 on the NQ. Position size 1 is a 1. Position size 2 is a 1. Targets of 12 and 25. 35 on the stop, break even -3. That's my unemployment NQ. All right, breakout.
So in
That's
5
my
minutes time now at
unemployment
the bottom of the hour, we see the
NQ
release of the weekly
breakout.
initial jobless claims number.
I'm going to
Forecast
look at the brackets.
235k on the prior 233k, with a range of 242 to 225k
Trade
expected.
balance
Continued
absolutely
claims,
affects this
forecast
report.
1.84 million, prior
Order
1.829
submitted.
million. With this, we also get the US trade balance for May.
Order
Forecast is a
canceled.
All
deficit
right,
of
so we've
76.5
got
billion on the prior deficit
our
of
NQ,
74.6
and I
billion.
said
The
honestly,
range
I
sees
don't
deficits of
have a big
70.0 billion
interest
to
in trading
78.2
real
billion.
money on
We also
this.
get the Canadian trade balance for May.
And it's
Forecast is
not
a deficit of
trading
1.27
the
billion on the
NQ
prior
early in the
deficit of
morning.
1.05 billion.
Like we
The
talked
range
about,
sees
you can
deficits of
sometimes you'll
0.4
get
billion to
squirrely moves.
1.75 billion.
Sometimes you'll get a move like today's ADP would have worked. We're hearing from people. Now, gold on unemployment, I would use a bracket a little bigger than 8. I think 8 is tight. I'd go 10 to 12. Okay, 10 to 12 on gold. Targets, I'm perfectly fine. 9 and 19. Perfectly fine on gold. 9 and 19. The stop is 20. These are high risk reports for inconsistency. Trigger time 829. You have to decide if you want to spend the money, right? Do you want to spend the money on these reports? That's how you have to look at it. You're spending money. It's like going to a store. Target one stop move, break even -2 is fine. So targets of 9 and 19, our stop is 20. Target one stop move, break even -2. Label it gold, breakout, right? And we're going to take a look at our bracket size, make sure everything is healthy. There is no embarrassment, folks, ever about not
Order
trading
submitted.
live. There's
Order
no law
canceled.
that says you have to risk your money if you don't absolutely love a report. It's just that simple, right? So right. My favorite announcer in Philadelphia just got suspended from being allowed to go to the Phillies games and report. He's a reporter because supposedly he tried to kiss a woman who works for the food service at the baseball stadium. So they suspended him for the rest of the year from being allowed to go to the baseball stadium. That's where I guess he tried to kiss this woman. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not true. I like the guy, and I'm not going to say one thing on either side. I don't know. I'm just sorry it happened. I really like his reporting. Most people hate him. Most people hate his guts. I think he's really funny. Buell Knox is having a big sale, Brian is saying. Is it having a sale or you're just saying it's worth 17 bucks? Yes, you can find really good deals on Buell Knox. I can give you a link. The 90% is finished. They'll probably start another one.
1 minute remaining.
They're
We're
always
bleeding
doing
with
them.
the initial jobless claims.
I do want to thank our friends on YouTube. I haven't seen any questions or anything on YouTube. We're still streaming on YouTube, so thanks for watching. ADP, just one little tick. That's all we missed. I think it's probably appropriate to shrink our ADP a little bit, get a tiny bit riskier on the trap, because I still believe it is a trap and we can make money on the report. There's no point banging your head against the wall on that gold breakout because it's not moving enough. If it starts to move again, let's watch.
10 seconds.
If it starts to move again, fine. It's clear why we have pretty big bracket on
Order
this.
submitted. Order filled.
238k, 238k, higher than
It
forecast.
hits the first
235.
target
Order
US
filled.
trade balance, a
and
deficit of
reverses.
75.1 billion.
Hits
Deficit
the
of
first
75.1
target and
billion. Smaller
reverses.
than expected,
Gold,
76.5 billion deficit.
not a
Canadian trade
good
balance, a
setup,
deficit of
right?
1.93
Did a
billion,
nick
1.93
fill
billion, a
on
larger
gold,
deficit
a
than the
nick
expected
fill.
1.27 billion.
It's not
We also
over,
see
but
the
it
continued
just
jobless claims at
barely filled the
1.858 million,
bracket, went up a little bit
1.858
past
million,
it just
higher than
now.
forecast 1.84 million. Looking to the markets, not a huge reaction here. A little bit of weakness in the dollar. There's some whipsawing,
So I do
some
have
strength
to
in the
say,
S&P 500.
what kind of behavior are we seeing today? Look, gold may save itself yet, but you might have gotten a lousy fill also. The news, the jobs numbers, 1.85 versus 1.84, so close on both. It's really uneventful numbers. Trade balance a little bit lower than expected. I'm not so sure this
We
news
have
is
posted
all
out the
that
Canadian trade
impactful
balance
this
May
morning.
report on the feed for anyone interested.
Watching gold, it just needs one tick. It's so hard not to bring that target in. I'm shrinking my stop. No reason to do a
Also
full
noting the
stop
US
now.
China May trade deficit is 23.98 billion
And
versus April's deficit of 20.11 billion.
it's going to
Order
hit
filled.
right there. Now you're in safety. Now you can expand your target. If gold just decides to keep moving, you can trail, expand your target, right? And the NQ breakout hit the first target and reversed.
We have
It
also
looked
posted out
very
the US trade
clear,
balance
like
May
that's
report on the
what
feed
would
for
have
anybody
happened.
interested.
Did anyone trade gold with cash money? Anyone trade gold with
Let's see
cash
a
money?
sources piece here as some ECB policymakers question the commitment to especially forceful or persistent action at the lower
Anyone
bound,
trade gold at
as some
all
ECB
in their
policymakers
prop
are urging
account?
a review of
Anything?
consequences
Anyone?
on quantitative easing policies. Just in fixed
We'll
income,
look at
noting
the
the
video in
Treasury
a
10 to
minute.
30-year yields declining to session lows.
Looks like gold, depending on the fill, might have survived. Might have survived. Now you're really, if you got filled and not stopped, you're in trade management mode.
Order
If I was
filled.
trading that live with real money, I would have kept expanding my target. Bigger and bigger and bigger. Trail, trail, trail. Why let it take you out of the trade if there's an opportunity to keep trailing? The worst that happens is you give up a few ticks by trailing and keeping your stop a little bit further away than the biggest target that you could hit. That's the only downside of expanding your target. You might give up a little bit of profit for the gift of getting much more if price does what it's doing. Okay? the price is continuing to move up. The proper way to do that is not to let it hit your target. It's to keep expanding the target. Okay. Let's take a look at the video. We've got two events to look at. So let's look at them. Okay. Before we do that, I do want to thank everybody on YouTube. We're going to close our YouTube stream. We've been streaming for 45 minutes on YouTube. That's a lot. And thanks everybody for staying. We will be streaming Friday morning. So hit the notification bell so you know the next time we'll be here. And thank you all on YouTube. Everybody else, stick around.